Hey there viewers, my name's Torinski and welcome back to another DCSS Sunday. Today we're of course jumping right back into the usual routine, trying to get a win with every species in the game. That's not right. Keep making that mistake. Rather, we're trying to get a win with every deity in the game. We already did that species stuff, of course. But where we last left off, we'd of course been playing on dear old Gregory, our Earth Elementalist Gargoyle friend, and things have been going pretty well, making Vehumet proud. Only a few near-death experiences that were not at all warranted. This character should be breezing through for the most part. Unfortunately, nothing can defeat my ability to get myself into tricky situations. But of course, hopefully we can make it through the last little bit here, maybe start on the next god, but who knows what the dungeon has in store. So without further ado, let's get ready to hop right back in with you, Greg. One of the rare times that we got Shadow Dragon scales. I'm still not super convinced that these are the best for us to be wearing. In fact, we might be changing in and out of them throughout the last little bit of the run here. But it is pretty neat to see some +8 Shadow Dragon scales. So we had to, at the very least, try it out. I mean, 52 AC is lovely in most ways. The one issue, of course, is that our resistances are a little bit worse for wear due to this. So specifically, once we've decided on where we're going for the third rune, we may have to switch out temporarily here, because of course the go-to answer on most of these 3 rune runs, especially for spellcasters, is slime. I don't think we need to bother with the Stress of Vaults 5. It wouldn't be too bad with Shatter available. We can definitely demolish enemies in an AoE sense. Gets a little bit harder because we don't have great targeting for Vault Wardens, so we could get locked in an unsavory circumstance. But slime should be pretty good. We have a lot of incredible damage coming out with Spellforce Servitor and Crystal Spear as a pair-up. So if we do end up going to slime, we will of course need some resistance to corrosion and probably some cold resist. It's nice to have cold resist for the Azure slimes. Is that what they're called? The Icy Boys, whatever their name is. So let's first start off looking for some corrosion resistance. Oh, there's a +1 Cloak of Preservation that I just completely ignored, even though it is just in every way, shape, and form better than our current. I guess in most ways, we still haven't determined, is it better for fashion here? We're wearing a nice royal red cloak. If we swap that out, we get a black cloak, so that does definitely fit into our overall imagery here with the Shadow Dragon scales. But as mentioned, we'll do a quick look up for armor here, try and find those artifact chainmails that we were wearing before. There's the one right there, so it does have cold resistance. Regen is also always really nice. So we should at the very least run over to this bad boy and rethink wearing it here. Was I carrying around this necklace for any good reasons? It's probably just an emergency cold resistance. I don't think completely necessary here, so we will indeed swap over, at least pick it up, and then let's head over to our slime entrance and start thinking through our decisions here, shall we? Don't really need good willpower coming in here. Of course, the Orbs of Confusion, is that what they're called? Orb of Eyes? The mostly fleshy buddy with a few eyeball protrusions is going to be a problem with no willpower. As for just the little eyeball buddies to float around, they don't even check your willpower. They are just able to paralyze you short term regardless, so not in for too much of a good or bad indicator there. And so, do we swap over to the armor right away, or do we try out a wee bit in our lovely Shadow Dragon scales? That is the question. I think we will swap over for now. Just play it a little bit safer. I'd hate to lose this run when we were so confident at the end of last week that we'd just be popping in here for a short jaunt to find ourselves the oh, and then some confusion. Perfect. To find our third rune though, and then just head for the end of the game while we're at it. That's fine. Shouldn't be too different here. I'm still very, very confused. And you know what? Now that we're down to most of the eyes being dead, I'll actually take this as an opportunity to head up, just in time for confusion to end, but still not the end of the world. And then when we plop back down here, Spellforge Servitor fails. That's fine. We'll just go to Shatter. It's not going to do great damage against the slimes, unfortunately. That's the big downside there. But we should be fine in the long run here. And hey, there we go. One of our... What are you? You are an Azure Jelly. Look at that. Our memory for once was not completely failing us, so that's fantastic. And Shatter did make way too much noise, so we're just calling all of our new friends over this direction. But not the end of the world. We'll pop through here and at least take care of the Quicksilver friend in a little bit more of a controlled environment. And in fact, as long as we bring enemies up here, we know that we can kind of just splurge all of our magic energy into crystal spears to take these buddies out, and that is fantastic. So we've learned a little something, reminded ourselves of the ineffectual nature of Shatter against our slime friends here, and on top of that, the ooh, geez Louise, hello there, that we need to potentially be worried about the noise that comes out of Shatter as well, because it does just call all of the attention on the entire floor our direction, but shouldn't be too big of a deal as long as we keep those factors in mind. Really don't want to accidentally step off the stairs, so I think we'll play it a little bit easier here. There we go. We take care of our confusion buddy on this floor. Still getting way too much corrosion coming our direction. Don't love that, but should be fine at the end of the day here. And let's make sure we don't get mutated too much, since we did have to use some of our mutation potions earlier on in the run than we would have liked. Does mean that we're running a little bit low already, but that is fine. And so many golden eyes. Hello, my friends. Didn't realize we had this many James Bond fans in the building. There we go. Finally managed to take care of the majority of this crowd here. Not too shabby and beautiful. That we can just pop right back into our usual routine. Now, rock slimes, that's something that I'm actually pretty well equipped to deal with on this character, which it definitely fits thematically as well. Wee bit of berserkitis. Thanks, my shining friend. You shouldn't have. But okie dokie, there we go. Let's check out how many magic mapping scrolls do we have. Plenty seems to be the answer here. So we'll do the usual routine of just blocking off all of the entrances and clearing out a little bit more of the floor, hopefully, before we have to run into any issues with the royalest of jellies. And we'll also quickly pop our way up these stairwells just to make sure that we have a little bit of a safety net, a safe escape plan if things do start to go horribly wrong. And thank you, Servitor, for not being as vulnerable to confusion as I am, so we can just let them deal with most of our problems. Fantastic. And hopefully, with that out of the way, we're in a pretty decent spot here. Not not too shabby so far. Definitely a lot of corrosion currently on us here, so we'll hop over to the stairs and at least have a bit of a an out if things take a turn for the worst. Fortunately, does not seem to be the case so far, so that is fantastic. And still just letting our Spellforged friend do the majority of the heavy lifting here, occasionally assisting just on the side. And let's make sure we don't let these slimes get too big for their britches here, shall we? Fantastic. Playing it a little bit safer as we get surrounded, but again, shouldn't have too much to worry about at the end of the day here. Oh, geez Louise. Oh, I got hit by a marked trap. Oh, well, that's really fun. I'm confused, and I'm marked. Perfect. So I don't really want to just immediately sprint downstairs. I guess I have 8 cancellations on me. Much more than we normally have, so we could just get rid of that right away. Doesn't help too much with the enemies already alerted to our presence on this floor. But at least if we do need to head back downstairs to escape any of this nastiness, we do have that as a bit of an option here. And not a great time for confusion. In fact, I probably shouldn't have been swinging. That should have been another case of, oh, why don't we just head downstairs and play it safe. Whoopsie daisies. But I guess here we are for the moment anywho, and I'm already just more and more confused. Plenty of curing though, so maybe we'll hopefully not get immediately reconfused, and does not seem to be the case. That will give us the briefest of moments here to just try to inflict some heavy damage on our new friends. You know, I'm actually kind of tempted. Should I even read a teleport? Play it really safe here? Ooh, especially as the confusion comes back in. I'm back up to probably being able to do 1 irradiate at least. If Titanic Slime ends up next to me though, then we're in a pretty gross spot. But let us read a teleport. All of this level is heading this way anyway, so it's not like it can put us in too much of a worse spot than we already found ourselves. And then what we can do is just head back to this stairwell. Let's see, we'll have a little bit of distance, no longer all the confusion coming my way, all of our contamination is gone from our previous visit, and there we go. Do manage to clear ourselves a nice little safe spot. Once again. And a sourceless malevolence fills the air as we get marked again. Perfect. Thanks, I appreciate that game. You know, there's not too much of the staircase or of the level left to explore here. I guess we could potentially try this one on for size. I don't have the best fire resistance, so we can't really rely too heavily on an immolation scroll style plan here. I don't have a condenser vein? Really? This whole game? Huh. Because that would have been nice to have as well here. But that's fine. Let's wait out some turns. Call in the troops here, call in the cavalry. I should have been a bit more careful with the stone slime, just making sure that we killed them in time. And it's looking like this is gonna be a we just get out of here type beat. As the rage takes over. Ooh, geez Louise. Okie dokes. So what's the best plan here? Let's try not to accidentally just immediately head back downstairs, because that is a nightmare waiting to happen. Potentially, if we do want to go back down this stairwell, we can read a teleport in advance, wait for it to be about to trigger, and then pop down. The alternative is that we could do some exploring here. I mean, we're not too far away from that stairwell. In fact, we can probably just walk up here. Yeah. There's always the risk that they're going to be completely blocked off by slime walls, or at least you have to trudge through this corrosive wasteland in order to make it to the other side, but fortunately was not the case this time. And then we've kicked the hornet's nest. All of our jelly friends will be wandering about the level. Hopefully we can kind of catch them in a less than ideal situation for them, while keeping to the positive on our side. Okay, perfect. I am able to do a little bit of smashing of you, and shatter does work wonders on rock slimes, so we confirmed that. That is wonderful. What else can we do? I guess Quicksilver is probably decent damage. I wonder how much health you have left, my friend. 230, you're at like a third, so maybe below a third, say like 60 to 70 health left for that bad boy. Don't have the greatest AoE here. Normally we'd have something like Ignition that we could fall back on. I guess what we could do is take a peek at the Quicksilver. It's 6d4, so not the best damage without any evocation training. Fair enough. Do I dare risk the immolation here? No, maybe I do. Aren't too many enemies at the moment here, and we can knock most of them back, like so. Make sure the Spellforge Servitor comes right back into the fray. I was hoping to actually do just one more shatter, mostly for funsies here. Do I have any evocations training? No, I do not. So Box of Beasts is not really going to bring too much to the table here. If I'm dedicated to this fight, I could dip into our pockets for a few magic potions. We only have 3, so not a huge amount, especially since you never know what kind of a Zot you're going to have. It could be an absolute nightmare, especially on Zot 5. One of the rare times that it's looking like we're actually going to be fighting through the majority of the summons instead of just trying to go for the heart of the problem. I'm hoping this kills the rock slime. Perfect. It does manage to do so. Then do I risk commanding my servitor? I think I do, because they should be able to take out the royal jelly themselves, and they do indeed manage to get the job done. And then we'll just read another teleport. Even though this actually is looking fairly manageable, things considered, can at least get popped in here. Whoa, I don't know if I've seen artifact dragon scales since they updated the tile. That is a gorgeous pair of fire dragon scales. Interesting. Well, we'll rest up here while we don't have too many new friends around. Bring in the servitor for anyone that does happen to sneak their way into the zone. And all in all, not too bad. We're actually taking a little bit of precaution there, you know, treating it as a full panic moment before we are actually one hit away from death. Turns out is a pretty sweet strategy. Works out nicely.